Hello, welcome everybody this early morning. Maniac Tim. Well, as you know, I titled my show or this today's episode as "What the hell is going on?" That remains yet to be seen. Why the hell can't the Lions get it together and get a decent backup quarterback, or at least somebody waiting to be trained for when Matthew Stafford can no longer be our quarterback, regardless of how he plays now? What happens when he retires? Who do the Lions get? Have you ever seen a team that has been so unprepared with a backup quarterback as the Detroit Lions? Uh, Not me. You need somebody that's going to go out there and be able to take um, the team to a level and at least keep the team standing up if Matthew Stafford were to go down. What's going to happen to the Lions? You know, I have not always been the biggest fan of Matthew Stafford, but he is definitely better than any other one that the Lions have had. So, do I think he deserves the money he's getting? No. But hell, if he's playing with a broken back, he sure as hell did. When are the Lions going to be able to build that depth that we're looking at, that we're thinking about? People get injured. A player like Matthew Stafford is going to go ahead and try to hold the team on his shoulders. And it's a little hard to do with a broken back. My God, what's going on here? Why in the heck can't we get it together and see the reality of what you need? The Lions just seem to pick these quarterbacks that are just trash behind Matthew Stafford instead of building somebody that can fill his shoes at least partly. You look at who we have had over the years since we have had Matthew Stafford. You had Rubik. He seemed to have promise. You had Dan Orlovsky. You had Matt Castle. None of these quarterbacks could go ahead and even touch or fill his shoes. You need some, you know, gone is a time when you had quarterbacks that could go ahead and come in and surprise people and actually win. I remember when Gary Danielson, I mean, this is going way back. And I know Jim remembers too. Marcus, uh, probably not so much. He's a little bit young for this, but I remember when Gary Danielson went down, Eric Hibble came in and got two touchdowns right away and actually won a couple games because he was surprising to the league. I mean, yeah, and he became the starting quarterback. But we don't have anybody like that on the roster now. So what the hell? They got has-beens, used people, people that nobody wants anymore to be their starting quarterback. Uh, if the Philadelphia Eagles did not have a good backup quarterback, they would have never won the Super Bowl. Because when their quarterback went down, their backup went ahead and took the horses by the reins and got them going. The importance of a good backup quarterback is really there. And as we seen last year, that the lack of one, forcing Matthew Stafford to play with a broken back, that was ridiculous. And when is it time for the Detroit Lions to realize that, hey, you're not going to be as good as you are when you're injured like that? I mean, I'm sure Matthew Stafford thought that he was the only and knew that he was the only solution to the game, the only quarterback that could get it done. I mean, he never thought that Matt Castle would go ahead and take his job. And sure, there was no way Matt Castle had the capability to take his job, because we all know what he was. Matt Castle was a journeyman um, backup, but he was not going to come in and fill the shoes or be able to set a spark. I think they need a rookie quarterback that can be developed. Look what Green Bay did with when they had Brett Favre. They had Aaron Rodgers sitting on the bench. Look what San Francisco did when they still had Joe Montana. They had Steve Young sitting on the bench, waiting to come in, waiting to replace. Yeah, this NFL is different, but you need a good backup quarterback, and you need somebody that's going to be able to take that spot when he's gone, injury or otherwise. I would also like to see a more mobile quarterback in the back, because with the way the people are rushing, with the way the offensive line is, uh, you need some escapability. And that's one thing that Matthew Stafford has a lot of talents. Okay. He has a great arm. He's a gunslinger, but he's not he's not a scrambler. He has some scrambling ability, but he's definitely not um, 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 uh, what you call it, well, a scrambling quarterback. I'm trying to think of a good example. Uh, look at what Aaron Rodgers can do as far as scrambling. I mean, hey, who would you rather have at their prime to prime, Matthew Stafford or Aaron Rodgers leading your team? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers does have the wins behind him, but he was with Green Bay. He didn't need to see what the rest would do to you. So just take a look at this. This one was talking. This episode is basically talking about getting a good backup quarterback and a good quarterback to go ahead and train and be able to step in when Matthew Stafford is hurt. Also be able to, when eventually he does retire or whatever, somebody trained in the system. Also, the sideline report had it saying that, do you get rid of, if the Lions have a losing season this year, do you clean house? No. You need to get this system in place. I think one of the reasons the Lions are so bad is they keep on changing regimes. Now, yeah, there comes a point where you need to change the regime. But if you look at when you had a longevity of a regime, you had a lot more winning cycle. I mean, we thought that Wayne Fonts was bad, but the Lions were a lot more competitive under Wayne Fonts. I don't think Jim Caldwell had the chance to build a team to where the Lions should be. I think if they would have kept him a few more years, who knows? Who knows where the Lions will be, because we know what they were last year. Now, one thing about uh, Jim Caldwell and Wayne Fonts, they were both player coaches. They got along good with their team, with the players. After Wayne Fonts left, you brought in Bobby Ross, which was a hard-nosed type coach. He was not known as a player's coach. Of course, Matt Patricia is a coach that goes ahead and works his team, expects things. He also is not a player's coach. So, but I do think that regime changes being too soon doesn't allow the coach to build a team, to build a system, to really become winners. So let's stick with the system. I mean, yeah, if 3 years down the road we're still in the same boat as we are right now, and not looking with any higher hopes or any way to get out of this, then we need to change the regime then. But next year, hell no. Even if we go 6-10 again. I mean, yeah, maybe some of the players need to go. But remember, whatever you replace, or whatever you leaves needs to be replaced. And they need to learn the system. One thing about Jim Bob Cooter leaving, and I think one thing that really hurt us last year is that Jim Bob Cooter was out of his element with Matthew Stafford, or with the offense that Matt Patricia wanted. So it's a good thing he's gone. We'll get to see what Darrell Bevell brings to this team, brings to the Lions. Hey, it's hard-nosed running football. It's an explosive offense. They're getting players both now and for the future. They got young players, free agents. I do think the Lions are going to do a lot better than 10-6, and I do think they're going to be able to compete in the NFC North, no matter what anybody says. But they still got to do it. They still got to get it done. First, you got to have the attitude. Once you have the attitude, the winning attitude, then you go ahead and you play to win. I mean, yeah, the attitude isn't everything, but it does really allow you to excel. And yeah, I may jump all over the place in my podcast or in my YouTube channel, but I don't care. I'm doing my YouTube channel the way I am. And if you guys don't like it, go to hell. You don't need to listen to me. I don't care. But one of the things that I am looking to bring back is in the Maniac Fan of the Month. I'm looking to bring those back. I need to talk to Marcus and Jim about it. We had that going for a while, and then we just kind of let it go. I also want to start interviewing more fans. They may not, I mean, I want to hear your story. I want to hear why you guys are Lions fans. I want to hear what makes you stick with the team and see what goes on from there. So this is what I want to do and what you think it's going to take to get it done. So I do want to start interviewing more players, or more fans. I mean, uh, okay, but it's real early in the morning. I ain't had sleep in a couple of days. Oh well, a couple hours sleep in days, not bad. But this is Maniac Tim signing off with the Maniac Report, and just to go back and preview what I said, Lions, you do need to get a good backup quarterback for Matthew Stafford, somebody to train under him to be able to replace him when he retires, somebody to step in when he gets hurt, or if he gets hurt, I should say. And I would like to see a more scrambling quarterback, somebody that has some mobility, has a good arm. That's what I would like to see in the future, and I think it would help the Lions very good. Uh, kind of like Michael Vick did with Atlanta. Yeah, that's going back. That's going back. All right. Well, this is Maniac Tim wishing everybody a good 4th of July weekend, Independence Day. And hey, I have this week off, so that's great. You guys have a good one. And I'm going to end the show for tonight. Maniac Tim. Oh, yeah. And remember, go Lions. Lions on the prowl. One pride. Go Lions. Let's restore the roar.